guys, this is Chris Moser from MyMediaHelper.com, and I can't find my hat, or it's not the matter that I can't find my hat. I know where it is. I just haven't looked for my hat, my Christmas hat, to be festive for y'all. So what I decided to do is try to wrap this boot to get into the festive mood. Now, I've attempted to do this. This tape doesn't tape so well. I think if we fold this like so... It's taking a shape. Some tape there. All right. That looks awesome. Look at that. That's pretty festive. Ooh, I need better tape. I have this stuff. I got it. Ah, shit. Shit. So now it's back down there. I gotta find it again. Gotta find the lead. There. What do you think? It's looking good. All right. I can't wait to open it and see what's inside. And maybe we'll do that next video. All right, gals and guys, let's see what we have today. All right, gals and guys, let's go through the drill real quick. You know how it goes. These are the free streaming services where I pick these films from. You can go on there and watch tons and tons of movies for free. Here are the 5 movies we'll be spotlighting this time out on this video's Christmas reviews. Here is where you can put your comments and get those film links down there in the description, and just give us some, maybe give us a heads up on some films that you enjoy that we can watch. And here's my little dudes here that I ripped off. Thumbs up, thumbs down dudes. And here we are with the Vudu logo. So let's begin with our reviews. Nice, short, and sweet. My Dad's Christmas Date is a 2020 movie involving a 16-year-old girl trying to play matchmaker for her widowed father during Christmas time to help them both move forward from the sudden and tragic death of her mother 2 years earlier. In many ways, Devin and Jewel Evans' relationship is no different from that of most fathers and 16-year-old daughters. He struggles to understand her. She refuses to communicate with him. He wants to be involved in her life. She wants her own space. In one important aspect, however, David and Jules are separated from the rest of society. The deaths of Jules' mom and David's wife in a car crash 2 years previously. With both struggling to cope with the rigors of daily life in the wake of this devastating loss, Jules decides to take matters into her own hands, creating profiles for David on multiple online dating platforms. Jules sets out to find her dad a partner, and for herself someone with whom she can talk. The question is, in the search for a new mom, will Jules find her old dad? Now, this movie was filmed in and around York, and York, that's in England for you blokes. Locations included St. Peter's School, which is the 4th oldest school in the world. It stars Jeremy Piven. You probably know him from like Entourage and the 90s Ellen Show, among many other television and films. And don't let the title of this movie fool you, as it just seems like it's some generic movie title you would find on a god-awful Hallmark or Lifetime movie. This is neither. This movie is actually good. It's got some solid laughs and will tug on those holiday heartstrings. I could even relate to some of the dating scenarios in the film, because online dating is a very odd meeting ground. I highly recommend this Christmas treat of a film. I found it really watchable and perfect for this time of year. And now there's Christmas Freak from 2021. Christmas comes just once a year, but for Rudy, every day is Christmas. And every day is perfect, because Christmas is perfect. At least that's what Rudy tells himself. Christmas Freak is all right. I mean, Sean Marlowe portrays a character of Rudy Rotnose, whatever the hell you pronounce it, which to me is just a cheaper version of Pee Wee Herman. The whole movie feels like a homage to Paul Rubens and his 80s character. Sean Brown, the writer, director, and producer for Christmas Freak, explains on the official website that he was inspired by touch-tone Christmas stories such as It's a Wonderful Life and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, both of which examine the power of community, love, and individualism. Now, for an extremely low-budget movie, this has some pretty quality production values. I mean, the effort was put into this film. It's shot very competently, and the acting is better than 99% of the independent films streaming through all the services these days. If you look at something like Raunchy Christmas, A Raunchy Christmas, which I mentioned in another video where it's shot with a minimalist of effort, and then you look at this, you can see who put the most care into what. There was a lot of care put into Christmas Freak. Christmas Freak isn't a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's solid. I guess that's a good word. It entertains. It's just a joyful watch. I had a good time doing that. It's something you and the kids could watch together. It's a family film that isn't cringe like something you'd see on the Family Channel or Lifetime. This movie is far above that load of crap that you would find on those stations. So yes, watch this movie this holiday season. If Christmas and the holiday doesn't scream politics, I don't know what does. An American Carol, released as big, fat, important movie in other territories, is a 2008 American satirical comedy film directed by David Zucker and written by Zucker, Myrna Sokoloff, and Louis Friedman, using the framework of Charles Dickens' 1843 novella, A Christmas Carol. The film follows liberal filmmaker Michael Malone, a parody of Michael Moore, of course, as he is visited by three spirits to teach him the importance of Independence Day. The film satirizes liberalism in the United States with focus on Moore's documentaries. It stars Kevin Farley as Malone, alongside an ensemble supporting cast that includes Kelsey Grammer, Leslie Nielsen, Tracy Atkins, Robert Davey, and John Boyd. Theatrically released on October 3rd of 2008 by Vivendi Entertainment, An American Carol received negative reviews from most critics who found the film's humor and satire to be ineffective. It also was a box office bomb, grossing $7 million on a $20 million budget. The film marked the final on-screen appearance by the late and great Dennis Hopper before his death in 2010. An American Carol was strongly promoted by prominent Republicans and conservative personalities such as Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, and Mark Levin. On October 3rd of 2008, actors Kevin Farley and Kelsey Grammer appeared on the Fox News program The O'Reilly Factor to promote the film, particularly in light of the guest appearance of show host Bill O'Reilly in the film. An American Carol has also been described by newspapers such as the Dallas Morning News as being for the right wing. The American Conservative reported the movie has been promoted by bloggers on National Review Online, the Leadership Institute, an activist group that maintains contact with college Republicans nationwide, urged its charges to see the movie on opening weekend, even handing out tickets to its interns. So this was a movie using propaganda to make fun of a guy who makes shitty documentaries with propaganda. This shitbag I'm talking about is Michael Moore, a millionaire making movies about how terrible America is. He's not exclusive to this. That's most of Hollywood. Michael Moore's net worth, as to what I researched, is $30 million, and the only reason it's not $50 million is because his fat ass was divorced in 2014. This guy did pretty well for himself in a country he likes to tear apart in his documentaries, and this shitbag is an anti-capitalist, by the way. Him and his $30 million, both anti-capitalist. On the flip side, we have a movie that hits you over the head with conservatism. I mean, takes a fucking sledgehammer and knocks you 20 feet into the fucking dirt. It features among the cast a lot of well-known Hollywood conservatives. Yes, they do exist. Let's take the politics out of this movie and look at it just as a standalone comedy. An American Carol attempts to fashion itself in the realms of such classics as Airplane and Naked Gun series. It even has Leslie Nielsen in the film to solidify that fact. This film is a poor substitute. This film is very short on laughs while it's beating you over the head with its message. We get it. Conservatism is good. Liberalism is bad. Now, I would consider myself a moderate, by the way. I would lean more as a conservative than a liberal. I indicate this to say I don't have a bias against conservatives. This movie just isn't very good or funny. I wish it was smarter than it was. Here is a vehicle to take some clever pot shots at liberals, and it was wasted by cheap gags and weak jokes. It was just a fucking lazy movie, just like Michael Moore's documentaries. This movie and Michael Moore get coal in their stocking this year. If you lean right, you may get some enjoyment out of this movie. If you lean left, your head will probably explode. How about everyone skips this piece of shit movie this holiday season and just drinks tequila? That's a far better idea. Christmas for $1. During the Great Depression, the Camp's family struggles to get by after Mrs. Camp passes away. The children expect another Christmas without presents until their father brings home $1 for them to spend on gifts. Inspired by a true story, Christmas for a Dollar was filmed in the state of Utah, based on the Gail Sears and Ben Soward's book, and was released in theaters on December 15th of 2013. Christmas for a Dollar marked the first time the Latter-day Saints and the Catholic production companies have come together to make a film that transcends religious differences and focuses on similarities. The film also proves you can make a religious movie without being preachy. Now, I had no idea who was responsible for the production of the film until I seen it, and honestly, if I did, I probably wouldn't have watched it. Not that I'm against watching religious movies, but the fact they're normally created to indoctrinate and not to entertain. And yes, there I'm talking about you there, Mr. Kirk Cameron. This movie reminded me of a show I watched as a young child called Little House on the Prairie. Perhaps many of you have heard of it. Just had that kind of feel and tone. I liked the film. It was a simple story with a simple moral. The film was well written and acted. I always cringe when I know a low-budget movie is going to have child actors and actresses, as they normally can't act. In this case, the entire cast was extremely competent with their performances. There's nothing new here. It's pretty standard. You can tell it was made with love and care, and that's why I'm highly recommending it to you to watch for this holiday season. It wasn't preachy. You can be religious without being preachy, and if there's any point to this review, I hope that's it. But yeah, check it out this holiday. It's a good movie. So on the flip side, Lucy Shimmers and the Prince of Peace from 2020 does kind of hammer you over the head with its religious undertones. I have a lot of opinions about this movie, as I felt the premise had great promise. It's the delivery I was hoping would shine through. That didn't happen, and it will be the reason I'm pretty harsh with my review on this movie. Most films I watch for these reviews, I have expectations that they probably won't be very good. Based on this film's trailer and the concept, my expectations were leveled a little bit higher than normal. I had higher expectations. Second Chances starts when a hardened criminal crosses path with a precious little girl who is helped by an angel to change hearts during the holiday season. It's not a particularly very good acted film. I mean, I couldn't do better, but again, I'm not an actor. I have been in a couple movies where the acting quality was all over the place. Most of those people in those films I've been in were found through like Craigslist. That's how this film seems, as the people in it were recruited from like a Craigslist ad or Facebook or something like that. It's just a mixture of pretty good to pretty mediocre acting. I could do without the religious overtones that club you right over the head. I mean, club you right over the head. They could have made the same impact with a more subtle approach. But nope, they just got the sledgehammer from the garage and whacked the shit out of your skull with it. There's a difference between exploring religious themes and dumping your ideologies. I mean, look at the last film that I reviewed compared to this. This film was an ideological dump. It also feels like two totally different movies at times, like two people had written different sections of the movie. And I looked up IMDb, and Rob Diamond was the only writer on this film credited. I also don't know his religious affiliation. It did say in his IMDb that he served as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons in North Carolina for 2 years in the late 80s and early 90s. In the film, the way the cop or guard or whatever he was supposed to be in the movie was written like a two-dimensional scumbag. It was very lazy. This whole movie was very lazy. I liked the premise. I thought this could be a good film. Too bad some mediocre acting and a very lazy script of potentially a good idea produced just a blah film and just a blah. Observations. Okay, so the little girl is 5 years old and somehow knows how to take her oxygen and her IV off her to sneak out of the room. When she passes the janitor, he's always standing and mopping in the same spot. It must be like a really fucking dirty spot. Seems like the only thing Lucy knows how to draw is pictures of Jesus. And when she passes by the little boy's room a day or so after she gave him her picture of Jesus, he's just hanging out in bed, staring at it. No fucking kid is going to be staring at a crayon drawing of Jesus for 2 days. If this was a drinking game and you drank a shot every time the word Jesus is said, you'd be dead within the first half hour from alcohol poisoning. There was such a disconnect at the end of the movie, and it was so over-dramatized. It lost any true sense of feeling for any of the characters. It just didn't earn it. Maybe if you're a person of faith and need to hear the word Jesus every 15 seconds, you'll get something out of it. I tried to sit back and watch this objectively, and what I concluded was, as a film, it was mediocre at best. It's really frustrating, and that's why I wrote so much about it, because it could have been a really, really good movie. If the script was polished, if the religious aspects were not thrown in your face, if there was a better director and some better acting, It just became a mishmash, an unbalanced mess as a religious film and just a film in general. And I was very disappointed by what was based on the trailer. And I don't recommend this film at all. So again, what I do to get into movies like this is I just type in like Vudu Christmas movies. There's not a category for Christmas movies, at least not right now, or not normally during the year. Maybe that changes during the holiday. I don't really remember from last year. I just right click on these links here and then I can go in and see what they got. These aren't necessarily all free. The ones free with ads you see right there. So I'm just going to close this tab. And there you go. Here's some right here. So you just scroll on down. There's one I reviewed earlier. You just scroll on down. And there's bunches. There's a few new ones that didn't show up last year. And there you go. And then just grab the links from the ones that I put there. And I appreciate you as always. If you think I was very, very hard on the last movie, it's because I wanted it to be a good movie and it just wasn't. I don't know why I'm saying that now. The review's over. So anyways, gals and guys, thank you as always. Please give me a Christmas present and subscribe to the channel. Please like the video if you liked it. Like it about 12 times if you didn't. And share it with anyone you want. Share it with loved ones, would you? And hit the bell for updates. And that's it. I'm going to go work on the next one. So I'll see you next time. Bye.